Back in early access, I made a video about Noita's creation myth and the hidden orb room glyphs. 1.0 changed and added to this and the methods of uncovering it, so here is everything we currently know about revealing the main in-game lore of Noita. There are 9 passages total, corresponding to 8 of the orb rooms scattered around the world. There is also now an in-game hint system that helps the players to figure all this out. That system being the Emerald Tablets and the FuryForged. Anyway, let's start at the beginning, at Orb Room number 2 in the Frozen Vault. Here we find Emerald Tablet Volume 2. Thence is born a spirit white as snow, and another spirit red as blood, which 2 spirits are contained in a third hidden thing. In order to more easily figure out what we need to fill one of the orb room pools with, we just need to visit the forge in Hisi Base. There, tossing the tablet onto the anvil will reforge it so that it now says, "The essence of life and death." The answer? Blood. After draining one of the pools back in the orb room, I'm just going to use this rapid-fire blood wand to fill the pool, but a single flask of blood will also work. Soon, the glyphs appear. Black-throated loon of midsummer was flying over a swamp and landed at the foot of a large tree. The bird laid 3 eggs. The first of the eggs rolled off the nest and cracked. From the crack, blood flowed out for 7 days and 7 nights. From that blood, life and death was formed. The second passage appears in the orb room in the sand cave beneath the pyramid. The tablet here reads, "The definition of death is the disjunction of the composite, but there is no disjunction of that which is simple, for it is one. Death consists in the separation of the soul from the body, because anything formed out of 2, 3, or 4 components must disintegrate, and this is death. Understand, further, that no complex substance which lacks fire eats, drinks, or sleeps, because in all things which have a spirit, fire is that which eats. And, when reforged, prove thine knowledge from what is the west created of. Snow. So, the easiest way to do this is to use freeze charge, usually on a projectile. After the pool is filled, the glyphs appear. The egg white flowed to the west, and from it formed the cold and the ice. From the shell formed the lands and the mountains. Now we head to the orb room past the magical temple on the western edge of the snowy depths. And the Lord spake, saying, "First shalt thou take out the holy pin. Then shalt thou count to 3, no more, no less. 3 shalt be the number thou shalt count, and the number of the counting shall be 3. 4 shalt thou not count, neither count thou 2, excepting that thou then proceed to 3. 5 is right out, once at the number 3, being the third number, be reached. Then lobbest thou thy holy hand grenade of Antioch towards thy foe, who being naughty in my sight, shall snuff it." Yeah. Anyway, reforged, it says, "Prove thy knowledge from what is the east created of," that being sand. The easiest way to accomplish this is by using the ground to sand modifier on a projectile. The yolk flowed to the east, and from it formed the warmth and the fire. Next, we head to the orb room beyond the jungle fungal cavern. Here we find Tablet Volume 6, which reads, "Some alchemists fancy that the work from beginning to end is a mere idle entertainment, but those who make it so will reap what they have sown, nothing. We know that next to the divine blessing and the discovery of the proper foundation, nothing is so important as unwearied industry and perseverance in this first operation. It is no wonder, then, that so many students of this art are reduced to beggary. They are afraid of work, and look upon our art as mere sport for their leisure moments. For no labor is more tedious than that which the preparatory part of our enterprise demands." After reforging it, our hint is, "To have true knowledge is to see in the darkness of ignorance." This one is a reference to Wormblood's ability to allow you to see in the dark. So grab a flask of that and head back to the orb room. And then, at last, from the egg hatched nature. Nature created the laws of nature, placed the animals, meadows, rivers, hills, and mountains. And now, in the Lava Lake orb room east of the mines, we find Emerald Tablet Volume 7. Among those who devote themselves to the transmutation of metals, however, there can be no such thing as mediocrity of attainment. A person who studies this art must have either everything or nothing. An alchemist who knows only half their craft reaps nothing but disappointment and waste of time and money. Moreover, they lay themselves open to the mockery of those who despise our art. Those, indeed, who succeed in reaching the goal of the magistery have not only infinite riches, but the means of continued life and health. Hence, it is the most popular of all pursuits. Unfortunately, at the time of this recording, the hint is missing from the tablet, but it should say, to gain true knowledge, one must slow down and not hurry. Which material causes the player to slow down upon being stained? Slime, obviously. So grab a flask of that to fill our next pool and make the next glyph passage appear. Night and day passed once. The nature worked by itself. The nature looked at what it had done and was content in its creations. There was harmony in the world. Now we travel all the way down to Hell to find Emerald Tablet Volume 8. Woe unto all ye fools! How ignorant are ye of this art, for which ye would die if ye knew it. I swear to you that if kings were familiar with it, none of us would ever attain this thing. Oh, how this nature changeth body into spirit. Oh, how admirable is nature, how she presides over all, and overcomes all. Bringing this tablet all the way to the FuryForged reveals this hint. Awaken, the flock of the shepherd, and think for thyself. Sounds like a job for polymorphine. This one obviously can be pretty dangerous. In my first attempt here, I had a couple homunculi with me, because they can be cute and helpful. Or they can just immediately murder you when you accidentally turn yourself into a sheep. Anyway, successfully filling a pool with poly will cause the next passage to appear. Another one of the eggs cracked, and from it, magic was born. Magic looked at what nature had created and gave them a soul, not only to animals, but also to substances. After that adventure, we travel to the depths of the snow chasm to find Tablet Volume 9. In this way, then, nature generates by means of this sulfur the different kinds of metals in the veins of the earth, according to the diversity of degrees and alterations. Back at the forge, this tablet will tell us to walk a mile in someone else's boots, meaning chaotic polymorphine. Once filled, the pool reveals the glyphs. The weight of the soul refined and twisted the creations of nature. The nobleness of gold gave it its shine. The inefficiency of mud gave it a pungent smell. Finally, on the other side of the world, in the desert chasm, rests Orbroom number 10. Take, he tells us, the stone of gold, combined with humor, which is permanent water, set in its vessel over a gentle fire until liquefaction takes place. Then leave it until the water dries and the sand and water are combined, one with another. Then let the fire be more intense than before, until it again becomes dry and is made earth. When this is done, understand that here is the beginning of the arcanum, but do this many times, until 2/3 of the water perish, and colors manifest unto you. Tossing this onto the anvil, we're told, true knowledge is a slippery thing, the unfortunate side effect of our divine stone. Let's pause for a moment. The slippery thing is obviously oil, but the unfortunate side effect of the divine stone? It's actually toxic sludge, which is interesting because, spoilers, ending a run at the mountain altar with certain amounts of orbs will now turn the entire world into toxic gold. That's just some food for thought. Anyway, I've been using a fast flamethrower to quickly evaporate the water in the orb room pools. I thought I would show that to be thorough and to let you know how I did this entire process. Filling the left pool with oil will reveal glyph passage number 8. Magic broke the laws of nature. Nature and magic started to argue about how the world should be. And finally, filling the right pool with toxic sludge reveals our final passage. The last of the eggs hatched, and from there technology was born. The technology allowed the animals of nature the ability to use devices and machines. And that brings us to current times. Who or what is the Noita? Are we an agent of magic? Or, with the introduction of the Alchemist faction and their failed experiments in 1.0, all of which resemble the Noita, it's possible that we're actually a successful experiment sent by the alchemists who transcribed all these glyphs to reobtain the Sampo so that they could continue in their pursuits? I'm not sure yet. What do you think? Let me know down below in the comments. I'd like to talk with a few of you about this. Are we an agent of the alchemists, sent for selfish reasons? Or are we an agent of a god sent to settle a primordial conflict? Or something completely different? At the end of my journey, I also placed each one of the reforged tablets onto the mountain altar, but nothing out of the ordinary occurred. I received gold for most, and hellgazers for a couple, number 7 and 10 to be precise, but I think it's just a completely random chance to spawn those. Anyway, before I get out of here for today, I wanted to give a quick thank you to Wimrite, Kenato, Samu Finland, Mesignosis, and I'm probably forgetting a bunch of other people who in the very beginning are the ones who did all of the research. They found them, first of all, and then they had to translate them from the Noita runic language into Finnish, and then from Finnish to English. Anyway, so thank you to all of them. And of course, thank you to all you guys for watching. I've got much more on the way. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.